gentlemen, please welcome the big top talent of Jessica Jane Peterson.
You are now listening to Things I Don't Hate, a podcast by Alvin Williams. Join me as each week I explore the often quirky passions that make our lives a little more unique, with interviews from members of all walks of the entertainment industry, as well as a few of my family and friends. Together we'll deep dive into why people love what they love and do what they do, in hopes of making the world a more brighter, understanding, and successful place to be. If you would like to subscribe, join me at thingsidon'thate.com. Hello and welcome to Things I Don't Hate, the podcast in which we love to pontificate about the things that we don't hate, which is code for things that we love. My guest today is long overdue. This South Jersey native has been a staple of the cruise ship industry. You've seen her on television on Penn and Teller's Fool Us, and on the show during the pandemic, Penn and Teller's Try This at Home. She is a wonderful, magnificent magician, all-around cool person, and I'm proud to call her my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Miss Jessica Jane. What's up, Jessica?
I'm so excited.
I'm beyond excited to A, have you on the show, but B, see you for the first time in 2 years.
And
this is the first time I've seen your face in 2 years.
I
know. Here's something that's going to blow your mind. You ready for this?
Yeah.
This is the anniversary of when we met 2 years ago. Look up your dates.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Are you serious? Because I was watching the video of us when our shows were over and about how proud of ourselves we were.
Yeah.
With Drake.
We were so pleased. We found the hot dog in a bun.
Yes.
What was that? Oh, I know what it was. It was a better name for pigs in a blanket was hot dog in a bun.
Hot dog in a bun.
Yeah. So I'm here with Jessica Jane, who wants to put a lime in a coconut, right?
Lime in a coconut.
Have you ever put a hot dog in a bun?
I have.
You have?
Wait, what is that? That doesn't mean
It's a hot dog in a bun and a dog and a bun and a hot dog in a bun. Have you?
like in the buffet line.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Yeah.
I talk about this because they call it a hot dog, but the hot dog is just the meat part. Oh. What you really get is a hot dog in a bun.
Okay.
But nobody ever orders it that way.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they
so
always
you just get the dog.
Yeah.
The dog. See, without a bun.
And it was the same day we got those amazing avocado things, and I've been meaning to ask you for a year, what was in them?
Okay, so it was avocado, honey, and yogurt. Just plain either tart yogurt or vanilla yogurt, depending on how sweet that you want it to be, and that was it. And they just swelled it up and then put vanilla wafers on top. And you have yourself
the wafers. That's right, because we had all those animals, all the cats and dogs that were on the beach trying to take our vanilla wafers.
do you still have those pictures? I have them. Oh, you do? You do have them?
I have some of them. We might have different ones because I have a little video of us making friends with the animals too. I'm excited. I didn't know ships could be that fun.
Well, first of all, they're not that fun unless you meet the right people. Let's get that
is
straight.
true.
Let's get that all the way straight. We just happened to meet on that ship, and I'm grateful for it because it could have been a different cruise, you know?
It totally could have. And I've now felt those cruises, but I know they're going to happen the second I get on the ship. I don't know how it is. You're like on the gangway, and as soon as you cross the gangway into security, you're like, oh, it's going to be one of those cruises.
You're like, it is going to suck.
Or like I see like the comedian sneaking cookies to his room, and I'm like, yeah. Or like, I'm like, we're going to be friends.
That I did when we met. I remember that cruise was the cruise where they did not have my room ready, right?
Yeah.
The whole time they did not have my room ready. And then I had to go perform that night. Like they didn't have the bathroom clean. They didn't have anything from the last performance there. And I had to go do my show that night. And they're like, we'll clean your room in the morning. So I had to sleep. Like I slept on the couch that was in that room because nothing was taken care of. And then you and I went and hung out and had this amazing day.
At that, what is it? That bar that's right before you get to, is it Latitude Bar? Or
on the ship?
Yeah.
No, you and I, we went to Costa Maya before we went to Latitudes.
Oh, before we were at the bar, because I remember us having a talk about how you can't trust those nuts, those bar nuts.
You're talking about when we first met.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. We'll backtrack and we'll do this all in sequential order just for the viewers. So
okay.
So you and I, we first met on the Norwegian Sun.
Yes.
And it was a smaller ship. And we did the welcome show together. But this goes to show you this is the difference between, this was your second cruise, right?
My second ever cruise and my first Norwegian cruise. That's right. It was the welcome show because I didn't know I was going to have to do a welcome show.
Yes. This was your first ever Norwegian cruise. Your first.
I was
ever...
like, what's a welcome show?
Yeah. So it's your first welcome show, right? So this is 2019. So at that point, I was 4.5 years in. I've done all the welcome shows at that point. So even though you and I were on the same show, you did not meet me that night. Because I've done the welcome show. It's like I go on, I do what I do, and then I walk off and go straight to my room. Like I'm over it.
You jet.
Even though we were on the exact same show.
When I got off stage that night, I had an email from my agent and I had a 4-month contract for Alaska. Because I remember I went immediately to the library and I begged them to open up so I could get a book on Alaska. Like, I'm so excited. I didn't know I was going to turn into a lifer at that point. But
I just want you to know that is not a normal story.
Yeah,
I just did my first welcome show. Then when I went to my room, there was a contract for 4 months.
I was like, this is great.
Yeah. You know, some of us just get a program for tomorrow's activities, but you got a 4-month contract. That was pretty sweet.
That was awesome. Man, and I think now, since I met you, I had been averaging probably 280 to 300 days at sea.
Whoa.
I've been on so many Norwegian ships now. Like I was on Breakaway, Epic.
Oh,
I did
my goodness.
Yeah, I did crossings. Like I've done several crossings.
How are you so happy still? No, I'm just saying. I'm saying, like, you know, it's a lot of work. It doesn't matter what it is. 280 some days of anything. Like I'm a little burnt.
Lot.
Like how do you not? And your hair is on point.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. How are you maintaining this? I lost mine
on the
this.
ships. It was because I found my fellow nerds, and we do stuff like playing Dungeons and Dragons at night, like backstage in the dressing rooms. Oh man, we totally nerded out. Star Wars nights on Holland America. We my friend Maverick was the audio engineer, and we found out he hadn't seen Lion King or Star Wars, all these movies. So we did like cabin parties with movie viewing. And I'm like, okay, I can figure this out. I can figure out ship life.
You know, that's Dungeons and Dragons to me is like porn in the sense of, you know, they have a huge following, but you can't like openly talk about it in public amongst your friends.
It's true. Because they're like, what you
it's
do?
The same concept. It's like, do you play D&D? Like, are you?
Yeah, and they act like you should be ashamed over it. And I'm like, no, No, forget
No,
that.
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. So that's how we didn't actually meet, even though we were on the show. We didn't actually meet until like 2 or 3 days later when I had my actual show.
That's right. And I remember I was wearing my blue dress and I met you after your show in the hallway. I'm like, hi, I'm Jessica. I'm the magician. I'm a total nerd.
Yeah, I was so happy to see you though, because you were somebody who like you weren't jaded by the ship life. It's like, oh, good. Somebody see, here's the thing. I love talking to people who just start the ships, at that point, because it's like, I know how good that feels, like that moment. Like, I'm not going to steal it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, cool. Ask me anything. I'll give you all the honest answers. You're going to have a great time. Like, here's what I wish somebody would have told me,
Yep.
All that stuff, which brings us to, we're sitting at the bar that night and they toss over the bar nuts.
Oh yeah. I was like, you can't trust those.
Yeah.
You cannot trust those. People don't wash their hands. And now let me just say that this was before COVID. And I think I was a visionary noticing that those bar nuts were not okay. They were not okay. Those people go to the bathroom on a cruise ship and don't wash their hands and they put their hands in those bar nuts. Yeah. And then they move them down to you and you're like, those look good. I've had a drink. I'm hungry. Don't do it. Do not trust them. And didn't we come up with a name for them?
Dick chips.
I remember I think people were coming up to tell you how much they love your show and eating them as we were talking about how
we were like, yeah,
but then we tipped that bartender really well and he gave us fresh ones. We were like, these are good. We will protect these with our life.
We got a vase.
The little thingy.
Yeah,
nobody so excited when this come out. And Drake was playing. That's when we hung out with Drake.
That's right.
Yep.
Mr. Drake Allen. I
did
have you done his podcast yet? He's got a podcast with this girl.
Oh, that's awesome. I did not know that.
It's so good. It's so good.
I need to put that on my listening
Drake
list.
And Tara, it's under the it's called Indigo Moon.
Indigo Moon. Okay,
yes,
cool.
Indigo Moon podcast, and it's dope. See, shout out to our boy.
I'm excited.
we were really at that time. So it was you. Drake had just started too. I think. I think this was his second contract as well.
Oh, so he wasn't jaded either.
Right.
We were all like, yeah.
And I just want you to know, you two were just such a breath of fresh air during that time, because that was spring break, right toward the end of spring break, Yeah. And I think if it was spring break, then I had done the Norwegian Sky before that, and it is a party.
I did that one. The 3-day cruises. Oh yeah, I did it during the Super Bowl. And my show was the night of the Super Bowl.
Which Super Bowl was it? Do you remember who played by any chance?
Oh God, no. I avoided it like the plague. I did.
What year was it?
It was 2020.
So it was just last year.
Yeah, that was just last year that I did that one. Oh gosh, that seems like ages ago.
Oh, it was right before the pandemic.
It was. And I remember I had to do the late show because the comedian was like not answering his phone. And he's like, there's no way.
I can tell you exactly why he wasn't answering his phone.
And I understand.
For starters, February 2020, that was Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes.
San Francisco 49ers were up by 10 points at the end of the third quarter and lost the game.
This is angry.
Why the comedians don't want to answer the phone.
Yeah.
That's exactly why. Half of a cruise is for the winning team, half of the cruise is for the losing team. There's nothing worse than when your team was up and they lose. I have a story for you.
Oh, I'm excited.
I was on the cruise ship. I was on the Sky. And the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots were playing in the Super Bowl. And Atlanta was up 28-3 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And they lost in overtime. And I'm on a crew, like this is mostly Atlanta passengers, like people rooting for, a team
And
close
it's
to
also
Florida.
a very narrow one. I remember you can't get around people.
No.
You have to walk through hordes of people on that ship.
Yeah. And my cruise director had this brilliant idea of, no, we're not going to have the comedy show at the scheduled time because it's a Super Bowl. Instead of canceling it, he goes, we're going to have it at 10 o'clock because the game should be over in about 3 hours. No, bro, this is a Super Bowl. That's a 4-hour game because of the commercials, right? So you're going to have me going on. It's going to be like the fourth quarter. They were showing the game in the theater that I'm supposed to be performing in. So the entertainment production manager had enough sense to go, well, we can't have him start his show now, because they came all the way back, right? So they're like, okay, we'll just have him do the show as soon as the game is over.
Oh, that's what they did with me. Literally, the screen went up and my magic stuff was behind it. And I had no, I've worked a ship with the World Cup, but I did not know what I was in for.
It was the most depressing comedy show. Man, I felt so bad. I didn't know what to do. I made fun of somebody who had at the time they were St. Louis Rams jersey on, because I'm like, well, I don't want to make fun of any Falcons fans. Like, they will fight. The Patriots fans were obnoxious. I hate to say it, but they were. Why wouldn't you be? You just won that game. You weren't supposed to win. So yeah, I picked somebody who had on a Rams jersey.
Was it a Warner? Was it when Warner was on the Rams?
No, God, no. Oh, man.
That's how long it's been since I watched football.
Do you know what my hair looked like when Kurt Warner was on the Rams? I had a fro.
Did you really?
Yeah, that was 2002, boo.
Oh, I need pictures. I want to see the fro.
Oh, you don't believe me? I know I got one somewhere. I know I have one.
I love these photos, by the way, that you sent me.
Oh, did you get the one with the fat cat? Remember the fat cat that was there?
I loved those cats.
That cat was just sitting at our table, just chilling. We were eating, the cat was chilling. It felt like you were home. I love Costa Maya.
Yeah. That place was amazing.
Insanely dope. Okay, I got it right here. I'm going to share it with you on your...
I'm excited. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is the best.
I know. You're like one of 3 people on the ships who've seen me with a full head of hair.
Oh.
That was taken from student government. I was senior class president.
So was I.
What?
Yeah.
Of course you were.
Oh yeah, I was such a nerd. I ended up doing the New Jersey State Student Council. I forget. I was treasurer or something of it.
Oh damn! And then you worked your way up through the ranks.
No, I just did magic during my speech. And then I got elected. I think I levitated behind the podium or did some magic trick, and they were like, "Yeah, she's cool."
Yeah. I would have voted for you. Yeah, so you grew up in South Jersey, correct?
I did. Wawa territory. Wawa
territory. So everybody was down with the magic and everything, or did it make you stand out, or did they how did they handle you being a magician at that age?
Well, now being a girl and being a magician is cool. But I remember a time when I had to put my ad in the phone book as a Jess Peterson so that people thought I was a dude. And when I got booked for multiple events, I'd show up and they'd be like, "Where's the magician? We didn't know he had an assistant. We're getting an assistant for this money." And I'm like, "I'm Jess Peterson. Nice to meet you. I swear I'm good. I know I'm not a dude. Might not be what you were expecting." But yeah, it was rough growing up at first, because people were not open to a girl magician all the time. Sometimes they got really excited because they're like, the magician's a girl, like, and they'd be thrilled. But yeah, Jess Peterson.
That's how I would have been.
Jessica Peterson was not a way to put gigs in the phone book. Jess or Jessie was. And
I gotta tell you, it was so different. I do not see many female magicians, so it was like mind blowing when I saw you, because no, like really, it was like, oh, this is cool, you know.
See, but I totally forget that, because I know it sounds stupid. I forget I'm a girl because all my friends are guys too. And I'm like, I'm one of the guys. I'm one of the guys. And I'm like, oh, I'm not one of the guys. Okay.
Yeah. Like, no, I remember actually seeing your show, and I was floored.
Oh,
I went, I don't know if you remember, like I went and watched you like twice.
Yeah,
like,
and you sent me pictures and stuff too. I still have the photos that you took of it.
Yeah, I did not want to miss it. I mean, you're excellent.
Thank you.
You do more than just magic. Like you like your storytelling is excellent. Your stage presence, like everybody's there with you, make people cry.
My tightrope routine. That was the first time I started doing the tightrope routines on the ships too, because I was afraid my friend Lance Burton, amazing master magician in Las Vegas. I think I mentioned him in the show you were at too, because I did that newspaper effect and I talk about the Lance Burton Teen Weekend. Yeah. And I remember he put out a little advice book when I was like 15 years old. And he said the importance of making an audience like you, but that on the cruise ships, they don't care. And he's like, if you can make an audience of people who do not care about you, who did not buy a ticket to your show like you, you are doing very well. Yes. And I was like, okay, I'm going to like put my heart out there, because I was like, it's 45 minutes. So it's, I thought it would be hard to get to a place where they accepted authenticity, because I know I'm not the typical style. So I'm like, okay, I'll put in some comedy. I did like my Animaniacs Nations of the World.
I know, I love that.
And all that stuff. But yeah, it's interesting because it's not, I didn't know if it would work, and it seems to work on the ships. Like I get a lot of feedback from people that the quote in the routine is, being on the tightrope is living, everything else is just waiting, by the famous tightrope walker Carl Wallenda. And it's about how my passion is magic. His passion was tightrope. So it's finding people's tightropes that and I have him come up to me on the ship too and tell me what it is, because we talked about that too. I remember. Yeah.
No, you really, I'm a fan of excellent entertainment. So, I mean, I like to be entertained too. So when a performer can make me lose the fact that I'm a performer, and I'm just an audience member, like I'm a fan.
That's a good way to put it. That I never thought about it that way, that when your wall comes down as you're watching, because that happened with me watching you too on both your shows. Because I remember your late show too, because I remember sitting in different places on the ship to watch your show. And I remember sitting in the balcony for the late show to watch the different reactions, because you were like, oh, I'm putting in the gorilla stories. So, so watch this.
I forgot about the gorilla story. Man, it's been too damn long since I've been on the ship.
I don't know if I remember my show anymore. I'm just gonna have to make up another one.
I think this is a perfect time when the ships start again to do comedy, because there's no way they can expect a tight show. Like it's going to be wild, because when we have the time. So I think it's just going to make for a less uptight show, because even the people who are on the ship are like risk takers. You know what I mean? Like there's just a different, I think there's going to be people from a different cloth who are the first early adopters of starting the ship again. Yeah, I think they're going to be all in for a good time.
Totally. You know? The thing is though, I've had to figure out how to do all my shows with zero audience participation. And that's been interesting, because you know how hands-on I am in the shows. Yeah. But thank God with the virtual shows, I've learned to do magic without having to have somebody really pick a card or do this or think of this.
I was curious about that.
Yeah. My boyfriend's been doing shows and we ended up doing a few together. And I went, oh my gosh, this is actually possible. Like this, we can do this. Not only can we do this, we can do an hour of this.
We can make this work and we don't have to wear pants.
Yeah. But then I realized too, I can be on stage and do the same things that I do when I have to go through a screen and I can't have somebody touch something. So, but now it's been like, okay, how many different 45-minute shows with zero audience participation can I get together that fit in two 50-pound suitcases? So that's the
well, I'm thinking a part of it would be easier because if I'm doing a virtual show as a magician, I'm like, is this your card? I knew it. Moving on. Perfect.
Seriously.
Like, no, let me guess. Like, yeah, like she's killing it.
By the way, though,
yes,
one of the things that I love audience participation. My only audience participation moment gone wrong, as I'm remembering, it's terrifying, was my Super Bowl show on the Sky.
What happened?
I was doing the Nations of the World where I pull the guy on stage and we do the da 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 da, and I like have him dance along. I picked a guy, must have been 6'3", like built guy, because I thought it would be funny to get him to do the kick line, and I knew he'd mess around. I did not know he was way more drunk than I thought, because I watch how many drinks they have when they sit down, and I notice sometimes the people that come in early, I'll keep an eye on their table on the monitor in the back, and I'll count their drinks. And if they go past 2, they're not getting picked to come on stage, because I can't trust them to remember a card on 3 drinks. Good Lord.
Yeah.
But I picked the guy, didn't realize he'd had all his drinks out at that club, came in, Super Bowl, he's sitting on the side, he comes up the stage, and I'm like, he's a mountain of a human being, but he's laughing his butt off. He's great. In the middle of the Nations of the World, he crosses behind me, right? Turns around as we're doing the do-si-do around each other. He picks me up under my armpits from behind me, and he starts swinging me in a circle in my black dress.
Oh no. That
long black dress. He must have spun me over 20 times in a circle. I did not. And that song is singing every nation in the world in less than 2 minutes. I did not miss a beat. I did not miss a country. I'm so pleased with myself. But every time I get spun around, I was looking in the wing at the crew. And oh my God, the look on their faces was like, she's going to die. She's going to die. And I was like, if he lets me go, I'm going to fly into the audience and I'm going to die.
Oh my God.
I was terrified. He put me down. I did my normal ending. I escorted him back to his seat, asking what the heck was wrong with him, but being funny about it because I made him the star of the show. He was hysterical. People called out his name the entire cruise. But it was terrifying. The bruises I had on my arms in the Sky, it was insane. I'm just happy I made it through that show unscathed. But the production manager literally, like, she took off the headphones and everything, was like, no. She's watching
people are the best and worst things about performing. I swear. It's oh my goodness. I'm glad you're okay.
I'm glad I'm okay, but I'm also glad that you also had to risk your performer life on the Sky in that same situation.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's unbelievable to me how that, because typically that late show is always on the last night of the cruise, right?
Yeah, it's
late at night. What people don't realize is that I have now become the babysitter. Everybody's gone to bed. Like the staff, everybody, because like they're getting ready for the morning. Like I'm the last thing keeping you busy before that club opens up and you party and go to bed, So I'm up there for an hour while you're not realizing, everybody's gone. Like all like everything's closing up shops, like everything's gone. Like there's nothing else for me to do but be here.
And when they get upset because they realize they're not serving drinks anymore. That moment.
Yeah. you're just there trying to distract until they don't realize like, oh yeah, nothing's open anymore.
And then the kids are trying to sneak into your late show that are under 18. And they're the ones, did you notice they turn into gangs?
Yeah, of course they do.
The children create the gangs. They find each other and they'll like hang out by stacked chairs on like the main deck. And they look so cool. Like they're in Greece or something.
Those kids love you. Like those kids follow you around. Like it is, I wonder what I would have been like as a teenager on those ships. Cause I don't think I would have been good.
I'll tell you what, man, I would not have hung out with other people. I don't hang out with other people now. Yeah. I find the comedian when I'm on Holland America. I hang out with BB King Blues Club because they're amazing. They're always like the most fun people. But, no, if I was a kid on a cruise ship, I would be hiding in the library. Seriously.
I just remember how much the kids love you because there was one kid who made you a drawing of your performance.
Yes. What did she call it?
It's Jessica Jane. Holy McNuggets.
Holy McNuggets. That was what it was. And I have had that drawing on my cabin wall every single cruise since.
It's the best compliment you could ever have.
Oh, it was the best. And I remember she drew everything in the show. Like she remembered like the dancing handkerchief and like it was a really cool
drawing.
I hope one day like she finds me and is like, you remember the kid that gave you that? I'm gonna be like, listen, it's still on my wall. It's on my refrigerator right now.
People don't realize the littlest things keep us going, you know, because you're at sea, you are by yourself for a long time. And it's just those little gestures that make it all worthwhile. There's something about having fans on those ships that are kids, because kids think everything is cheesy, dorky anyway, lame. You know, they're upset because like their parents brought them on there and they didn't pay for their Wi-Fi, you know, and then they like see your show and they like you. And it's like you broke through a wall of, you know, like I don't consider myself like cool. You know what I mean? You are
cool. And you had fans that were kids too.
Oh, sure.
Totally.
Sure. I mean, well, now that you mention it, it's still just amazing to me because I don't really connect with kids. So when they connect with me from seeing my show, I'm like, huh, like you got all that.
I feel like as you say that though, I see the things I don't hate, but I see like the don't going things I hate. Kids.
which is sad because it's not that I dislike them. It's not. It's just I got nothing in common with them. I don't like when they're around, you know. Until I meet one that's cool, and then I'm like, you're the best thing ever. I want to adopt 5 of you.
Yeah,
you know?
That's the thing about having kids that I've realized is it's a gamble. You don't know you're going to get one of the good ones.
Huge gamble. No in between. Win or lose. and too many parents try double or nothing and fail. The first kid sucked. Let's have another one. Oop, now we got 2 kids that suck.
Crap. That's why I want to adopt. I want to be like the daddy Warbucks where like I go in, I'm like, listen, I'm a magician. And they'll be like, there's a magician. And it would be like, come here, my posse. Now, I hope I will adopt you all, but you have to be okay lifting things and moving things for me. Do you know what a roadie is? Okay, come with me, my children. Yeah.
Perfect. Put them to work.
This is going to be on my background check they do, and they're going to be like, yeah, you can't adopt any kids. We watched that podcast that you did.
I want to be like the guy from the Umbrella Academy who finds like 8 kids and just makes a superhero team out of them, and they have these amazing abilities.
That's
like
such a good show.
Yeah. No, you know what? Hated that show at first.
Yeah.
Thought it was too slow. I'm like, hurry up. And now I dig it. I'm like, this is so well done. Like it was worth it. Here's the payoff, you know? and now I want to be that asshole dad. That's best case scenario for me. I see myself like adopting kids, and said this all the time. My friends don't believe me, but it's like I want to adopt kids like somewhere between like the ages of like 15 and 17, you know.
Same.
Like,
I'm exactly the same.
Super appreciative, you know.
Nope, they get it.
They have a personality already. I'm not responsible for it, you know. They have it, and like now we just learn each other, and like I'm still enough of an influence on their life to what they want to do in the future. You know?
They're like a friend.
Yeah.
That I
like
feed
a little
and provide
brother.
For.
Yeah, a friend I'd die for. I'd die for my friends. A couple of them. Some of them no.
That's what we'll do. That'll be our after cruise ship plan. We'll just,
for our rafting business.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Our luxury raft business.
We're gonna be like, listen, you're gonna have to work. We have this. We should tell them that we're, especially in light of COVID.
Yes,
we're opening an open air rafting experience.
Open air luxury rafting experience. The Alvin Williams, Jessica Jane experience. This is the only cruise line that is not a cruise or a line. It is a raft.
Yep.
I believe our meal plan was at night we dress as pirates.
I didn't mean the Disney ship when they're doing pirate and princess nights and take the food. Yeah, when they're doing the pirate theme night on the cruise ships, we too will dress as pirates and then board the ship and take all of the unused food. Yep. And just throw it down to each other to the raft. Yep. And then that is your meal plan. It is free and included on Alvin Williams Jessica Jane experience. And our cruise director is Clay. He volunteered already. Our cruise director is Clay. That's right. Yep. And we only play The Color Purple for some reason as the movie. And it's not a big screen that we have. Like, you have to have a cell phone, and we will allow you to tether to our Wi-Fi. Which just happens to be the ship Wi-Fi because we're close to the cruise ship the whole time. Our business, even with COVID, our business is still dependent upon the cruise industry. It's true. Because I remember that's how we're going to get from port to port, is just sort of like hook on the back of the ship. We just grab a rope and we just... Which is an excursion, by the way, and you have to pay more to sit up front. Yeah, your first excursion is completely free. Like... And we're going to get Drake on there. Drake is the musician. Yes. Drake is the musician. This is a big ass raft. He's going to jet ski out. We've got all the entertainment figured out, like completely. And on the Super Bowl, you get to sail the raft because like that way you're not too busy worried about our show because your team lost or whatever. Who has time to be angry when you are in charge of our survival? That's a really good point. Yeah. You captain for a day on Super Bowl Sunday. They should just do drill on Super Bowl nights after the Super Bowl. Yeah, absolutely no drills. Zero drills. Relax. You get on and the raft starts. The raft experience, the raft excursion, so to speak. All of it starts right then. There's no plan. I mean, let's be real. If that thing turns over, we're all screwed. So why burden yourself? I went to training where I learned to flip the life raft. Thank you very much. And it was I was the only girl in training. I was in Italy in this like pool. I spoke no Italian at the time. They spoke very little English. And I remember they made me like jump off the platform with my little life jacket. Did you have to do this? Are you kidding me? No. Oh, that's right. Because I remember I told you my first cruise gig was the one where I was essentially crew on Costa. It was the year the Concordia had that whole thing. Yeah. And so they made me do a lot of stuff before I got on that ship. We had to like, jump off a platform holding our life raft, and then we had to swim to the raft, and then we had to like, there's this belt thing on the bottom of the life raft, and you have to climb up and you have to like flip it over. But I'm so short that I was just like pulling on the thing, like trying to get it to go. Oh, it was awful. Me personally, I feel like they recruited you because they have seen you escape from a straitjacket during one of your shows, whereas I just tell jokes.
And there's no way that equates to me flipping a raft over for anybody. Like, look, I got one skill and I exhibit it well, but that's where it ends. That's why I'm doing the rafting business. Like the drills weren't for me.
You got this. And we should mention while on this that we are offering spots to the right bidder,
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm not saying venture capitalists, eat your heart out, but I'm saying if you want to make this a public offering, like the raft is still afloat.
No, we're willing. We're totally willing.
We're willing, not really able, but we're willing. We just need somebody to front us a raft. We're lacking capital at the moment.
Wonder if there's a COVID grant for
there should be a raft company sponsoring this podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what things I don't hate? Angel investors.
Or we can get some camping store.
Oh God, yeah. Like Cabela's?
Yeah, what's that? Is that a camping store?
Well, I mean, they were going to be a sponsor till you just pulled that. You know what? I walked into Cabela's before and been like, what's this? What is going on? It's like a redneck paradise. It's like they got all the camping and camouflage and the hunting and the
That's like the one. There's one that I was in the other day. It begins. What is it?
Like Big Bass Pro Shop.
It was kind of like that.
It's probably Cabela's.
Maybe I was at one 2 days ago.
I think you were at a Cabela's.
And they got my money. I bought
buy?
a fuel canister because I have a show in Missouri coming up, and I needed something to put my fuel in for my fire eating.
Because you eat fire. That's correct. Why are we talking about this raft business when you literally eat fire and we should be speaking about that?
I forget about that though, but you know what? I haven't done it in such a long time. It's been a long time.
Well, you can't do it on the raft. You better get the kinks worked out before you ruin our investment.
If anything goes wrong, it's going
I just want to point some things out that I learned about you the first night that I met you.
Oh boy. The first night.
Yes.
All the things I volunteered up front where you're like, who is this human?
I was like, who is the Yeah, I was, but it was like a super intrigue, like, who is this person? You eat fire. You have eaten light bulbs.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about eating light bulbs. Oh, yeah.
You walk on glass.
I have, yeah. Yeah, I do that.
And you like whiskey.
I do like whiskey. Especially like whiskey after I eat a light bulb to wash all that glass down.
You were once locked in you were locked in a trunk for a trick and your family did not let you out of the trunk.
They packed me in the truck. They forgot
and drove
about
away
me.
With you after a show.
Totally. Yeah. No, they skipped a trick. And
yeah.
I was in said trick in a magical secret land inside this box. And they skipped it. And no one told me. And they picked it up. They put it in the truck because we would pack the show as we performed it. And they didn't know I was gone for like 10 to 15 minutes until I didn't show up for the next trick. And they're like, where's Jessica? And they're like, oh, maybe we put her in, not just in the trick. They put the trick in a flight case that they closed and then put the flight case in the truck.
How old were you?
14.
14 years old. It is
Either
amazing
13
you
or 14.
speak to your family. That happened to me at 14 years old. And then to lay the accountability on you, like, yeah, we didn't know you weren't here until you didn't show up for the next trick. Like, not until we realized, oh shit, we lost our daughter. It was like, where the hell is she?
Yeah, we just packed her in a flight case in a truck.
Wow.
Where's Jessica? I don't know. She's conserving her breath because she's real worried that you're not going to find her. Like, come on, guys. Who would find me? I was in the magical area of an illusion where no one would see me anyway in a flight case.
How? When did you start? When did you start magic?
I didn't really have a choice. I was born into it. My mom was literally doing shows while she was pregnant with me. And apparently my head would turn to the show music. My mom said like I would kick and stuff. It was this Cirque du Soleil music they used in the show. And she said like I would literally like move when she was pregnant with me to the Cirque du Soleil music. It sounds like some old vaudeville tale. I was like, and she was born on the stage, see? But yeah, I ended up in my godfather's show with my mom, who was a magician's assistant. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I thought that was normal. It's not. They performed, and my mom worked at Six Flags Great Adventure. She was in a show there with a magician named John Bundy. And I remember they had a Batman stunt show there. And I was 5 or 6 years old, totally believing at a Six Flags that Batman and Bugs Bunny were my friends. Which I told people in preschool, which is why I got bullied.
You weren't right.
And then I got kicked out of preschool.
You had photo evidence.
I did have photo evidence. I did.
But it didn't come out in time, apparently.
No, but it was bad. I remember I was in a Catholic preschool, and I would tell them about like my escapades with my family. And Sister Margaret was the nun that ran the preschool, right? And I remember we had to do this thing where we talked about what our parent did for a living. And so my mom would show up in like blue eyeshadow and sparkles and sequins because she was just walking off stage getting me from preschool, and we were going to another show. So that was just the way it was. And in my mind, in my preschool age mind, when I watched the show, my mom would go on stage and there were these big boxes, the illusions, and she'd like spin them in a circle and pose. And I wrote, with the help of the little thing that like it teaches you the alphabet in preschool, they helped me write that my mom turns tricks. And I announced to the entire preschool that my mom turned tricks to Sister Margaret. And my mom showed up to pick me up in her blue eyeshadow with her rhinestones. And she took me out of preschool. I never finished preschool. That's a true story. My mom can back that up. My mom turns tricks. Oh. Yeah. But like in my mind, it made sense. Like she spins them in a circle, and like she turns the tricks. Like well, totally makes sense.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah. That reminds me. There's gonna be a nursery on our raft. How could I forget? The Tricks Academy.
Tricks Academy. Oh my gosh. This is good. Now that's branding. We're going to brand that. Trademark Tricks Academy.
You are my muse.
With my mom with like thumbs up. Yeah. That's the logo. Tricks Academy. With Sister Margaret going like in the background.
I asked because I wanted to know how many years had you been doing magic, because was this a new trick that you got locked away at 14?
Unfortunately, no. I was reaching the age where, so my godfather sort of believed that like I shouldn't get sawn in half until I was a certain age, probably because I wasn't tall enough for the box, but I was reaching the age where I could start doing illusions that I been able to do before, and that's one of those illusions that I was finally old enough to do that they just sort of forgot about.
Man,
but that is why I decided, screw this, I'm gonna be a magician.
Yes, you'll be the magician. You will run.
And at 15, I went to Las Vegas and my parents had just gotten divorced. And the way I got my dad to take me was I went to him and said, Mom said there's no way that you'll take me to Las Vegas to go to Lance Burton's teen weekend. And he was like, pack your bags, kid, we're going to Vegas.
You're like, your mom was very specific.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way.
There's just no
we
way.
Went. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. Lance Burton was the teacher on it. And then there was Jeff McBride and Eugene Berger were two other teachers that were amazing. Chris Angel showed up for lunch. It was
that's
awesome.
dope. Now, I know magicians are a very tight-knit group. So you probably have an idea of this. How many female magicians are there?
There are actually a lot of female magicians, especially in Asia. There's tons of them. I know a lot of female magicians in America. They're all over the world, but I feel like it's more normal in Asian countries for there to be women magicians. There's a lot of them there, and they're incredible, absolutely incredible. But I know female magicians that have since I started on the cruise ships that we're doing cruises as well, which is awesome. So that's becoming more of a thing. But I think it was the Magic Castle had posted photos, and there's so many. It makes me so happy.
That's amazing.
It's awesome. And I think with more women magicians being on TV and performing in places like cruise ships, there are little girls that are like, I can do magic. And that makes me happy. Like, I had a little girl come up to me on a Holland America cruise, and she said, I didn't know that I could be the magician. She's like, my grandfather always makes me the assistant, and he lets my brother be the magician. I went, wait a second. Wait, what? And he was there, and she took me over to him, and he made a remark, something of, yeah, when we get home, I can't wait to show them some more magic, blah, 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 blah. You've made me remember how much I love it. And you can be the assistant and you can be the magician. I was like, how about you make her the magician? And this was just so foreign to him. And yet in that moment, you saw him kind of go, oh, okay. It had never even crossed his mind.
Yeah.
And so those moments make me feel really good when you sort of question how someone thinks everything should be. Yeah. And then they embrace it and go, oh yeah, girl can do magic, you know? Like, yeah.
I had not seen one before you.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah. It what's cool is like I got to see one, and then B, it's like, oh no, I know her. Like I know this one.
That makes me happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's because I feel like in that sense, I mean, I was like, well, she must be a trailblazer. Like I didn't know anything. You know?
I mean, there definitely were not a lot when I was younger. Like there were a few of us that all knew each other. Mm-hmm. But as far as the women I know, though, there's a lot of women that do magic as a hobby. There's a lot of women that are like working on different acts, like 12 to 15 minute acts. I don't. Mm-hmm. There are female magicians that have like 1 hour, 2 hour shows. There's not as many of those. But then again, there's not a lot of magicians that have that much material. You know, it was an art form where you had your 18 minutes, and that's what you traveled the world doing, not 3 different 45-minute shows, you know?
Boy, they ask a whole hell of a lot of the performers. Yeah. Because I'm just like, for you to have what do you have to have three different?
Yeah, I have 3 different 45-minute shows. I have a workshop. I can do a lecture. I can add on an hour question and answer if I have to. So I'll usually find a comedian and then have us do a question and answer back and forth. And we'll like answer questions from the audience. That's if like it's been a horrible week of weather and the dancers have not been able to do one show. And we're like, we've done 6 shows. Okay, question and answer time. Let's do that.
This would be perfect for our rap seminar. Like,
yes!
We could just bring it up impromptu.
We got this.
This ship is pretty rocky. If only there was a way to condense this into a smaller, yet energetic, fun show. Yeah. Jessica, do you have any ideas? I would love to be back on a ship with you specifically.
we'd have so much fun. Like I would actually do a longer contract if I could go on with you.
Yeah, because you know that's coming. You know that's as far as when we get back on. You know they're gonna want us to do really long extended contracts so that we're not traveling as much. Which I'm all for. The hardest part of what we do to me is the constant travel, like ship hopping. To multiple places. Like if you have a place where you can like settle, be somewhere for 2 months, 3 months, like establish like a routine of living, like then we're good.
We should just tell our agents that we can do split shows, and then they'll be like, so they can cover all this material and they'll host your raft excursions.
We will have to slide that in. We will pork barrel that into our contract and just and rap seminar.
Seriously, dude, a split show with you would be so much fun though. That's my favorite part of the cruises now on Holland is the last day, second to last day of the cruise when we were in Victoria, we did the matinee split show and I loved it.
I did I was doing the Alaska cruises like a couple years before you got on Holland America. I did the Volendam.
Oh, right? Cool. Okay.
And I was on with Joseph Rayholm. Do you all know each other?
Yes.
I thought so.
Ginger guy. He's awesome. Yeah, he's like a rock star of magic.
He's an incredible person, incredible magician.
Didn't he teach you a magic trick too?
Yes, he did. But what was it? In the
crew bar. I remember you told me when I first met you that he taught you some trick in the crew bar to do that you used. And
he
awesome.
Did, and I can't remember it, and it worked, and it was great.
Yep.
Oh man.
Was it a thing with a straw, or like was it?
That sounds super familiar. I would have to ask. It's been 4.5 years. I don't remember, but yeah, he showed it to me, and it was like something I could easily do at a bar to like pick up women.
Yep, he's your next podcast guest, but he has to share. He has to be.
Yeah, no, I gotta hit him up and see what he's up to. But yeah, like comedians have a very small community, and magicians have a small community, and everybody kind of knows everybody. Like you're always at least 2 degrees away from a comic. Doesn't matter what level. Totally. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows you. You know, in magic, I feel like it's even smaller. I feel like
world.
The famous magicians. Like
everybody knows each other. Like literally everyone knows each other. And I remember
you knew Copperfield, didn't you?
Yeah. Not well, but I mean, I've met him so many times and have seen him perform since I was like 10 years old. I remember shaking.
That's what I mean.
The first time I shook his hand after a show, I had to look up at him because I was so tiny.
He's so tall. Like, he looks like Uncle Jesse from Full House.
He does. He totally does.
Dude, that dude, I'd see. That's all I knew. I knew David Copperfield, and then I knew Chris Angel.
Yeah, David Blaine
and David Blaine
and Siegfried and
David
Roy.
Blaine is a different. Who?
Siegfried and Roy.
Oh, I never saw them perform.
Ah, amazing.
You know who I loved? The Amazing Jonathan.
I love Amazing Jonathan.
Yeah.
Amazing Jonathan's awesome.
Because I thought of him more as a comedian, and I was like, he's a comedian who does magic. Like that's what I thought. But he's a magician that does comedy. You know. But it's because I didn't understand how much went into the craft when I was a little kid. You know. And so those are my influences.
I feel like Amazing Jonathan, and it's because he's so great. He's like the most ripped off magician of all time. So many people steal his routines, and I love that. We're getting to a point in the community too where I've realized people call people out for doing other people's material. Good. I mean, so many people I've seen, I'm like, that's an Amazing Jonathan bit. That's an Amazing Jonathan bit, because he's just so good and so known.
Yeah. So that's how you're going to be if you're not already. Like I don't know how deep it runs.
I am pleased to say that I have had routines stolen and performed, and I was like, I am making it.
You're right. That's I tell people. I'm like, yeah. If I found out like somebody had my special on bootleg, I'd be flattered. You know, like you don't have to buy it to impress me.
You went to all that trouble to pirate my special.
Exactly. Like I'm worth that to you. I would have gave it to you if I knew this how you felt. you know, you want to share it that bad? Here, talk to me. But yeah, like that's I just feel like you have this thing about you where everybody who meets you, I mean, we're all, you know, whatever, oh, but that Jessica Jane. Yeah, you know Jessica? Yeah, it's like you really developed this way of being that everybody who met you, like we all have a story about you.
I feel that way about you though, because it was like when I was on a Norwegian Epic and I was talking with Clay, the cruise director, and he's like, so you know Alvin, huh? I was like, yeah, I do. And all of a sudden he and I became friends because I knew you. And he's like, well, the fact that you're one of Alvin's friends means you're cool and you're going to be my friend too. And I remember that night I hosted the room after the dance competition where all the losers go.
Losers Lounge.
That was it. And we did all the bits and everything, but I included magic with it. And I didn't know they were going to throw water in my face in one of the skits and was like, no.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. When you do the overboard sketch.
Yes, that's it. Where the dancer in the life jacket. And I was like, I remember slow motion. I saw the cup of water from the dancer. And I was like, no. As I'm rigged with magic stuff. Oh my gosh. Dude, the look on my face, because my face does things that I can't control.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Oh, you see it. Like I cannot hide anything with my face. It just kind of like contorts.
Yeah.
Like kind of like Lucille Ball, but not meaning to be Lucy. Mm-hmm. It just sort of like does all the stuff.
Yeah. No, I thoroughly remember. I remember that. Yeah, it's funny because that's what this is what I was saying in the beginning of the podcast this was okay. So we got through, you and I, we met, we hung out, and then the next day we decided to go to Costa Maya and go like have all the food and all the fun.
Yep.
And
all those tacos
the whole point
too.
was they had not cleaned my room yet, so we're like, all right, we'll just go hang out, and then, you know, my room will be clean by the time that we come back. We hung out the whole day in Costa Maya, came back, room was not clean, and they were just starting to work on it. And this woman, I don't know what language she was speaking, but she was cursing me out for how dirty my room was, as if I was the one who was responsible for it. And you overheard it because we were next door to each other. And so you came back in and you're like, hey, you want to get a drink?
I forgot about all this. Oh my God.
Because she was like, I mean, the room was a mess, but it wasn't me. I had just gotten there.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with that mess. And you could tell she was really pissed off at how much cleaning she was having to do. And she saw it was my room. And so she was just really pissed at me.
Said, you've been here one night. One night.
Yeah. That's and I was already about to lose it because it had been a day and a half and I had not had a clean room, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what you're like, hey,
let's go get that whiskey.
And that's when we went to it was like a little cafe type place, and they had whiskey and macaroons.
That's right.
Yeah. So you always have a timing element to yourself where you always know exactly what somebody needs.
Aww.
Yeah. So that was major, but yeah, that was one of those moments where you were about to experience my full I'm burnt out. Like, here's where I snap, and you stopped it. Like you stopped it cold. It's just like,
and you know what's funny is I have been in your shoes now on the ships, and it's Dave Burley, fabulous comedian.
Yeah,
was on one of the Holland America cruises, and I just like, it was like rough seas, this happening, this goes out, camera cord's not working on this, da, 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 da. And I remember meeting him in the hallway, and he's like, hey, want to get a drink? I was like, you have no idea the perfect timing that you've just said.
Yeah.
And we ended up becoming like besties on that ship because that perfect timing. It was perfect, and hung out the whole
gestures. Small gestures are everything. If there's anybody out there, if there's any performers that are out there who are thinking about doing ships, and when you get the call, Small gestures mean the world, especially to people who've been on the ships for a long time.
Yeah.
They're just not used to it. They're going through the motions. They're going through their routine. If you ever get the urge to just be like, hey, you want to hang out? Like, yeah. They do. I promise you they do.
Totally. Yeah. And moments like, I remember how much it meant to me on occasion when I was starting to, when you've been doing so many shows and you're on like a long run of shows and you start second guessing yourself. We all have that where I'm like,
yes, absolutely.
I'm like, am I any good? And I remember, I think it was Justin Ruppel, impressionist comedian, left a note on my door that how much he enjoyed the show and the tightrope routine and stuff. And like Dave Burley on another cruise had put a note under the door just talking about what the tightrope routine meant to them. Yeah. And I had been on the edge of taking it out of my show because I wasn't sure that it was hitting the way I wanted it to. Like I was afraid that people didn't get it. And it was in that moment that I got one of those notes, and that someone walking down the hallway who I found out had been looking for me after the show and couldn't find me was like, "You don't understand." She's like, I'm a female, but like with my job, she's like, it's not a job that most women have. And I love seeing you on stage and you're like your strength and that tightrope routine. She's like finding your passion, and you never take that out of her words were never take that out of your show. On the night I almost took it out of my show permanently. That night that just so happened to wander down the hallway, did not know I lived on that deck. And the words were never take it out of your show. And I was like, okay, universe, thank you for this moment.
And then she offered you dick chips. Stay humble.
Okay, no, the things I've seen though, since those peanuts, I am now.
Why'd you look scared. Around when you said that?
I don't know.
You don't even know, man.
I think I'm so nervous to like. I'm so nervous to say it. The things I've seen on the buffet. Since, oh my God, like somebody took a pancake and sniffed it and put it back. And I'm like, no.
They're terrorists. That's terrorism.
It was awful. I'm so glad that won't happen anymore because that's the one good thing about COVID is there's going to be so many extra measures.
Sickness will go down on those ships. Promise you that. It's all
no more pancakes that have been smelled by the person in front of you. No more.
You damn pancake sniffers. Stay off our high seas.
So weird. Not only I've seen it twice, not one time. And what's crazy is a comedian made a joke about it. And I went, that doesn't happen. Not at one cruise later, I saw it happen. I did.
How often then the cruise after
it, I watched it happen again. And I'm like, what part of a pancake do you think I should smell this to make sure it's okay?
How do you know if it's good?
I don't know. And what was the moment where you went, I should put this back?
Yeah, it's like, because it was good. That's why. Yeah, if it was bad, they would have threw it out. But it's like, no, this checks out. Flop. Let me just double check. I'm gonna search pancake sniffing to see if we're the jerks in this situation.
Oh
and this
my
is just
gosh!
What you're supposed to do.
It's really a thing. Maybe it's some TikTok challenge before I knew TikTok was a thing. Because I still
people
don't get
throw cheese on their babies on TikTok. Everything's a challenge,
dude. All the little like dances, and I'm like, that's not a dance. What are you doing? Lord. They're like, that's da da da.
There's a. Oh my God!
You did not actually. No. Pancake sniffing is not a thing. No. What did you find?
Pancake Sniffer's real-time subscriber count.
You are not serious. That is not real.
124. It says Pancake Sniffers. I don't know if you can see this up close.
Oh my God.
People really do this. It's just, what is?
I hope this isn't some sort of like weird, creepy fetish thing that I don't know about.
it might be. Like this is
no. What did we uncover?
I have no idea. I don't want to cover it any longer.
don't click on it. There's some spyware or something.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Maybe this is some cult.
The pancake sniffers.
It does sound like a slur. I don't even know what it means, but it's dirty.
I hope we better look that up to make sure it's not bad, because I swear I didn't mean anything bad by it.
Yeah, we could easily get canceled not even knowing. We didn't know. Ignorance is no excuse. I don't want to be intolerant to anybody out there. I mean, if you're, it's better than waffle lickers.
You've not seen that. You've not seen that.
No, I haven't. Don't scare me. I thought you were warning me, like you don't want to see that.
Oh no, I thought. See, I believed in that moment that it was realistic that you had seen it, and I wasn't even going to question it. I was just
I'm just really quick, and I make up things.
It's because you're. Oh, that's right, a comedian. You do it for a living.
You got so serious. You startled me. I was like, no, I didn't see it. It never happened. Like, I don't even know. I eat bacon. I eat bacon. Yeah, no waffles. So what's next? What's next for you when this whole pandemic thing is over again? Are you gonna go back to sea? Are you doing things on land now where you're like, I'm gonna stay here? Like what's in the cards, so to speak?
It's hard to say because the virtual stuff has been going well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really nice to like wake up, get ready, have a pancake, and then walk 3
Sniff
feet.
it.
Have a pancake.
Wake up and smell the pancakes.
Yeah. I can do shows. I'm like, I wear like my Harry Potter Hogwarts pajama bottoms and I do a show and I'm like, this is a joyous thing. I mean, like just the idea of getting ready and now walking to the theater. Like I actually have to leave my cabin now.
Yeah.
Here, I'm just like the bed's there. This is great. But no, I do miss it. I actually really miss performing on Rocky nights.
Really?
I know that sounds crazy because there's such a challenge. I miss Rocky shows.
Wow.
Is that weird?
It is.
I love them because there's something about being in high heels and escaping from a straitjacket on a Rocky night on the ship.
What is wrong with you?
Well, that's why I'm in the straitjacket.
That's right.
Just saying. But I miss that, man. I miss it.
We were judging people sniffing pancakes a little while ago, and then I remember, oh yeah, you're in a straitjacket and high heels, and you like when the boat rocks while you do it. Got it. Everybody's got their thing.
Just saying.
Yeah. When you put it that way, I am in no place to judge anyone. You're correct. I don't know either. There's a part of me.
You're doing shows, right?
No. Mm-mm.
No?
I haven't done a show since January, and it's been on purpose.
Okay.
Because I tried to tour in the fall of last year.
Yeah, with the drive-ins or
what was that?
Was it like with the drive-ins and stuff or?
Who's the drive-ins?
Oh, the drive-ins, the drive-in.
The drive-in shows.
Drive-in.
Oh, no.
Like, is there some agency that I don't know about?
Yeah, I was like,
The drive-ins.
The drive-ins, you say. Yeah, I was doing like regular shows because I was, I didn't want to do virtual shows. I could not, without the laughter, I couldn't.
Totally understand.
Reach it, I had much respect for the people who did. I just knew it wasn't me. I was just going to do club shows. So I put together all the clubs that were still open. Right.
Yeah.
And I went and I performed, and it was like some places it was like, hey, we can only do this many shows. We can only pay you this. Mm-hmm. We only got 25% open, and I did it and I had a good time, but I told myself in that moment, I'm not going back until it's
open.
Yeah. Until it's open,
yeah.
because it was just a lot.
We had that. It was It was interesting.
Yeah.
It was August. My friend Aiden Sinclair that has a show at the Stanley Hotel, he had to have emergency sinus surgery. And Estes Park, where the Stanley is like 10,000 foot elevation. So sinus issues and surgery and your face and elevation do not go along together. No. So David and I went out. I found out a Tuesday night at 6 p.m. I got the call. I flew out at 5 a.m. Wednesday morning. We watched him do the 5:30 show, and then we had to learn it in time for the 8. And it was a full hour and 15 minute, hour and 30 minute seance ghost show at one of the most haunted hotels in the country.
In Colorado, right?
Yep, where The Shining was.
Yeah.
Yep. And we learned the show, and we did it for like a month, and it was in COVID. It was our first live shows, our only live shows in that time, with the temperature checks, the sanitizer, everything. It was a lot. And especially like preceding people with the 6 feet apart. And if they lose a member of their party and you have to take a chair away and then you're moving everybody around. It was a lot. And also getting people to wear masks.
Right.
That was rough.
The hardest part for me was going to places where I normally sell out the place.
Yeah.
Like like Boise and Chicago and and in Chicago, it's like, I sold it out, but it was at 50% capacity.
Yeah.
You know? So it just wasn't the same. And especially Boise, like I'm used to it being like a party for a week. Oh. And it just wasn't that way. Like my friends who love me, they didn't want to come out, you know?
Yeah. So it's not the same vibe where you're not looking forward to like hanging out with someone after the show.
Right. It was just so weird. And I was just like, no, I purposefully am just going to stay home and wait.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, because I was hell bent on, I'm not doing the ships again. I didn't trust it with the COVID stuff going on. I just wasn't going to go back. But now I'm vaccinated. It just kind of changed it for me. It's just like, okay, well, you know, I'll be all right, you know? So now it's like, that's on the board for me too. But I'll have once I'm offered, then I'll know how I feel.
Yeah. It's like you're waiting for that moment that the offer comes by and you're like, okay, yes or no.
I'm waiting for the
choice. You'll get that gut feeling.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that on the ship too, that we get like feelings about stuff. Like, you get that vibe about something.
For sure.
You know if it's right or not. And then I feel like you also get little signs that you're supposed to do something or not supposed to do something.
Yes.
Totally like something that you really like popping up on the TV or a lyric in a song. And I'll be like, okay, no, I was right.
I made the completely right choice. Like even like meeting you that night after the show, you have the option of selling your merch or not selling your merch at the end of the shows, you know? And I was just like, I don't even know if I want to sell, you know, like it was one of those moments because I mean, on the Sky, I make a killing.
Yeah.
On the Sun, not so much, you know?
Okay.
So sometimes you're just like, cause that was when we were doing Cuba.
Okay.
Right? So like the Cuba crowds, it's like, I'm not making any money on this. So I probably am not going to sell, you know? And I just decided to sell. And that's when we met. We probably would not have met otherwise.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all these little signs that add up to something big, you know, like 2 years later, like, look at us, we're doing this.
And I wasn't supposed to be on that cruise. The reason I got that was because something happened with another person and they needed me at the last minute.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. My agent called me and was like, can you be on a Norwegian ship? And I went, what?
You know what? Now that I think about that though, Jessica, that's how we all start out. That's how we break in.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, my first couple cruises, it was like, hey, get your shit. You got a day. Like, can you make it to Mexico? You know?
To Mexico. We're sending you the Panama Canal. Get ready.
It's like it's time. Pack up your shit and go. Can you make it?
Or it's Christmas. Because my first cruise was a Christmas cruise. Because they're like, no one else. They're like, all the people that do this for a living, they get Christmas off. you get to come to the Christmas cruise.
That's how but that's once you get in there and you're doing Thanksgiving and you're doing Christmas and it just starts rolling over into more work. And then a few years later, you're like, no, I'm not doing this for Christmas. Screw these people.
I'm like, get the new person to do it. I'm not gonna lie though, I've done every Christmas since. I've totally done every Christmas since.
Are you looking forward to being the jaded vet 10 years from now? Because I am.
I am. I'm kind of because I want to be the person to like break people in and be like, let me show you about this. And I can't wait to know enough about all the ports. Like I know some secret spots now that like other comedians have been like, I'm taking you to the jerk chicken place in Ocho Rios. And I can't wait to be the person to be like, oh, hey, so let me show you a place.
You know what I like doing is I like hooking up performers like with either other performers or letting somebody know like, hey, she's looking at you, you know?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, like you gonna make a move or what, kid? Like it's that type of like I'm getting to that age now where like I see young people being young and they don't realize like this can be a lot easier if you all just chill out for a second and realize like, hey, she likes you, you like her.
See, I'm a good wingman. I am like the best wingman ever. Oh my gosh.
I'm better. I don't know what you're bringing to the table, but let's
have a competition. We will go to Chicago or someplace and we're going to be like, okay, wingman competition. Just saying.
I hooked up my parents.
Oh.
That's how I'm here.
Okay. No lie. My parents were married 3 times. To each other, married and divorced 3 times. And I think that I was the reason that my parents got back together and got married.
You are the ultimate wing woman. You win.
I'm just saying, the 3rd time, I'm pretty sure that was because of me.
You overturned a divorce with magicians. You win.
I was like, wait a second, because I think that's why I just accepted that you were like, I brought my parents together. I'm like, I did too. What a coincidence.
Yeah, mine was a joke. This is so real.
What's really messed up is my parents I love that I checked to make sure like no one's around.
You're still looking around. I'm like, I feel like your whole family is in the other room. Like,
you're right. Well, they got
talking about us.
Dude, they got married on April Fools twice. Like you would think the first time they got married on April Fools and then it didn't work out. They're like, this is not a good day for us. This is not the day.
I think they were just saving on stationery. They're like, hey, we don't even have to change any of this. And we have all this left over because so many people declined on the 3rd time to come attend.
I love them. They're nuts, but I love them.
I've never met them, but I love them too. Just from meeting you and these entertaining ass stories that you've given me, I know that they're characters.
Oh my gosh.
Because you are a character.
Dude, you would love my mom and my dad so much. And I've played videos of you for both of them, by the way.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. As soon as I got off the ship, I was like, this is my friend Alvin. And I started playing stuff. I played all these videos on your Instagram the other night for my boyfriend. He was on his computer. I'm like, listen to this one. And this one. And I remember there was an interview where you were talking about that you thought that that's how people stayed on ships, that they put you like in the engine room or something. And it was, and you like, do I bring my own bedding? Like, is that how this works?
I did not know. I mean, that's no different from college. When you go to college, there's an empty bed in there with nothing on it. And I thought it was the same thing. And they have done very little to convince me otherwise. I'm still like not above bringing my own pillowcases. Like,
that's the best. You know what though? I bring my own pillowcases mainly because I dye my hair when I'm on the ships. You have not lived until you've seen a girl with hair this long use red hair dye on a cruise ship cabin.
With a paper, you have the plastic bag on your head and everything.
Oh yeah, I do the Walmart one. I like tie it in like a little bow and try to make it look cute. But then I got walked in on once while dyeing my hair on a ship. It was awful. I was on the Costa Concordia. And it was the staff captain would do birthdays where they put 2 little chocolates on your pillow and a little birthday card in Italian. And he must have knocked and I didn't hear him. And so like the cabin steward opened your room to like let the staff captain put it down. I was completely naked with red hair dye with my hair in a Walmart bag, and I had opened my bathroom door like with dye everywhere. Like it looked like a murder scene, and he was just putting the chocolates on my bed. And you know how when you open your bathroom door in a cabin, it blocks the exit?
Yes.
So I'm like, ha ha, oh!
You locked him in?
And he's like, happy birthday.
Oh, snap.
It was awful. Like
it is by far the biggest disaster on the coast of Concordia ever.
You're awful. You're awful. Oh, dude. Dude.
Is there one, because we're wrapping up, and I would just like to ask you, because every now and again I get to ask this of somebody who I find prolific in their field.
Aw.
Is it is there something that you would like to say to a budding entertainer that's out there, if you could give one word of advice to them to begin their journey?
Be authentic and be passionate. And if you love something, don't let go, and don't let go of that dream. And whatever you choose to be a good one.
Hell yeah, Jessica Jane.
Yeah, totally.
And I must say, you are a great one. And
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You too.
I'm grateful for you. I do what I can.
I love you, man. You're one of my people.
I love you too. I love you too. And thank you so much for being on Things I Don't Hate. You are one of the things that I don't hate.
Oh, I feel the same way about you.
And I'm just, we're gonna wave again. Because I didn't want you to leave. The last time I waved at my friend in London, and she just left. Yeah. So I'm gonna cut in this wave, or I'm just gonna leave it. Who gives a shit? It's us. Don't forget, if you would like to subscribe, go to thingsidon'thate.com. And if you just have a quick question or comment, please feel free to email me at don'thatealvin@gmail.com.